Should have used this time to plug the Deel marketplace or talk to you about my team. What else? How amazing my past 24 hours in Germany has been. It's my first time here. It's been really quite fantastic. Going to London. Aren't intention different ways. Quite literally can't live without. Further ado, and a view in with EOB Space.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Anil Sevinch, and I am the founder of Ion Blue, which is a deep tech space company. We see the unseen, or we see the invisible. Let me explain how we do it. Currently, there are 7,000 satellites in orbit. Trillions of dollars has been invested already. And there will be 58,000 satellites, observation satellites only, in 2030. But there is one very big part which is missing, the intelligence. Nobody knows what to do with that big data. That's why European Space Agency, NASA, everybody is introducing new calls in order to harmonize this data. And they are taking very expensive selfies as well. So Ion Blue, my company, we are at the exact solution where we turn the satellite data into actionable orders, and we turn the intelligence and we save lives. For example, if over there you see a landslide or a flood in Germany, like 182 people lost their lives, this was preventable, and we had the signals. But unfortunately, because of the missing intelligence layer, these lives has been lost. When there is a big incidence of such, you don't need fancy maps or before-after pictures. You need to know, or the people at the site has to know what to do, when to do, where to go, and how to do it. And this is what we call the artificial intelligence layer of space data. So our technology has been validated already. We have paying customers. They are the most reliant ones. And also, we have been validated by NATO, Business Finland, Define, which is the defense industry of Finland, and also UNOPS. We came to this level with 3 offices in Ankara, Istanbul, and Helsinki, as bootstrapped. And now we are looking for €1 million in order to expedite our growth. If you also believe that hardware is enough, selfies are too expensive, let's have a short chat. Thank you so much.
One 1,000 years. Conventional plastics are made from petroleum and stay in the environment for thousands of years. What's even worse, every single person in this room ingests 5 grams of microplastics every single week. That's like eating a credit card every week. We're Grale, and we're on a mission to change that. In fact, we are the fastest growing plastic alternative on the market, reaching €5.7 million in revenue only 2 years after launch. We also won recently a €50 million deal. So basically, we use renewable resources such as agricultural waste and cellulose. Then, through a unique process, we make different plastic-free products. Our products are 100% biodegradable. Of course, there is competition, but no one has succeeded to solve sustainability at a reasonable cost. With Grale, we've succeeded to bridge this gap. So far, we achieved these milestones: €5 million in ARR, more than 200 million products sold, and recently won a €50 million deal. That's 10 times our current ARR. On the technical side, we built the technology CapEx light. It is 100% scalable because we use the existing machines for production, also protected by strong patents. And most importantly, we create meaningful impact, such as saving a lot of CO2 and water during our process. Last year, we delivered 800,000 euros in revenue per employee. Of course, all of this wouldn't have been possible without having a great team and amazing investor who backed us in the earliest stages. As serial entrepreneurs, my co-founder and I have a proven track record in building, scaling, and exiting technology companies. Now, we just opened our Series A round in order to scale up, improve our margins, and dominate the market. If you're interested and you want to be part of it, let's talk. Thank you.
The Landbanking Group is a nature fintech. It combines nature tech and fintech, and it combines very different talents: ecosystem modelers, ecologists, botanists, investment bankers, lawyers, data scientists, AI experts, and of course entrepreneurs. The founders have created 5 successful companies. Now, it's about nature. The economic value of nature is 0. That's what economists, classical economists, tell us. The real nature of value of nature might be different. That's what scientists and modern realities tell us. And if you believe that nature has an economic value, then you are sitting through the right pitch. We now have the ability to make nature's value visible and real. That has to do with higher resolution Earth observation, with inference models, AI-based, and with ground truthing. That allows us to give every pixel of the planet an ecological passport with regard to its stocks of biodiversity, carbon, water, and soil. We call it a natural capital account. It is the bridge between the ecological world and the economic world. We've put that into a stack that allows us to provide a digital, a financial, and a legal representation of nature. Imagine you live in a world where every company, those who depend on water, on cacao, on flood protection, every bank, every insurance, every central bank, every sovereign would be able to measure, to manage, and then to monetize asset-grade positive actions on nature. And then imagine that would be doable in a way that is available to every organization. And that exists, that tool we have built. It's called Landler, and it's being used on 3 million hectares by 60 companies, and the journey has just started. Thank you.
Banks are leaving billions of dollars on the table in agricultural lending. 7 out of 10 farmers are rejected for loans, not because banks don't want to lend more, but because they cannot evaluate farms in real time. There's $200 in potential loans lost every year. So let me tell you how me and my team are already fixing this. Telagri gives banks a real-time credit scoring for farms and early warning for the risks. We combine satellite, crop, and weather data with our internal proprietary algorithm that was created by UC Davis scientists. As a result, we give banks decisions so they can lend more and default less at the same time. Banks can now identify the best performing farmers. They can monitor their entire agricultural portfolio in real time, and they can predict the future, aka harvest of the farmer. We are already working with 4 leading banks across Georgia, Armenia, and Uzbekistan, and we are monitoring $100 million of loans. But that's just the beginning. What we do is we give banks ability to identify which farmers are the best and where they can lend more. We generate over $300,000 in revenue, but more importantly, that's about to convert into $2.6 million in annual contracts next year. But our data does not stop with credit scoring. The value chain actors are equally interested in our data, such as insurance companies, input supplier companies, commodity traders, or even the governments. Me and my co-founder spent a decade, and we managed 40 million in agricultural portfolio. We are backed by ADB Ventures and some amazing investors, and are just raising seed round to scale across Central and Southeast Asia. Farms can talk. It's our job to convert that into capital, growth, and food security. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Miles. I'm the CEO at Hyphen. Today, there's 3 fundamental problems that are holding the carbon market from reaching its full potential. The first being infrequent data. Soil is sampled every 1 to 3 years, and satellites don't actually measure, they provide a proxy. A result of that is that it's inaccurate quantification of greenhouse gas removals. Other solutions on the market have an accuracy of plus minus 30 to 70%, which frankly is not very good. And the cost it takes to get carbon markets into the market is over 2 years and $1 million. At Hyphen, we provide direct measurement 24/7, 365. Our accuracy is over 90%, and we get our customers to market in weeks at 25% less cost. How do we actually do that? Hardware, software, serverless, one seamless integration. We deploy, maintain, and operate ground-based instrumentation. Our software processes this data and provides real-time analytics and insights, and we do the market integration for the third-party issuance of high-quality carbon credits and emission claims. We are end-to-end solution provider to ensure that your carbon credits and emissions claims reflect reality. Our business model that supports this is we charge a one-time initiation fee, a subscription fee, and a commission on the carbon credits. And currently today we are providing such services to a wide range of different clients in the market across the voluntary carbon markets, compliance markets, directly to governments, and to multinational agriculture companies. This means that we are not specific to one vertical within the broader market, but we have a wide range of customers that have all been validated and need our solution across the board. We've just gone to market, and since we've gone to market, we now have 4 projects live. We've just signed on new clients. I want to note that this is 100% organic growth. We've approved 9 methodologies in the voluntary carbon market, and we've just signed 2 major government partnerships to be the MRV partner for Article 6 bilateral trading. We've just initiated our first revenues as a result of going to market, and we have the contracts from these initial clients that reflect 2.4 million of an ARR over the next year. We have an amazing team of some of the leading names in climate science, policy, and computer science out of ETH Zurich. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Morten, co-founder CEO of Sirputis. We build and sell seaweed biorefineries modular based. Business is distributed and processing is not. And our model ensures that local biomass get their processing equipment. There is 36 million tons of seaweed today processed, and central biorefineries are located mostly in Asian countries, far away from the seaweed. And seaweed, as you know, is wet, is localized, and transport without being destabilized. 90% of the seaweed is water. So basically, today, transportation of the water across continents is happening. So Sirputis scale the capacity with the modular processing facility. It was very hard to see here. There was some wrong with the slides here. So we built the modular bio refineries with the 5 steps here. We receive the biomass, we stabilize it, extract, separate, and finish the product. Central big biorefineries are 30 to 100 million euro in investments. Our biorefineries is deployed in 4 to 6 months with a capex of approximately 3 million euro maximum, and with a payback in 2 years. Biomass is also available all over the world with a negative even feedstock price, and with a value creation of 700 per ton. And our modular biorefineries, they can be placed and scaled and moved around in the world. We have already 17 countries, clients, and our team consisting of these. It's still some problems with the formatting. We have deployed 20 million euro in the pipeline. We have more than 7 projects, EU grants committed with 2.5 million euro. And we will now use the 2 million round of capital raise to unlock 30 plus projects globally. Thank you very much.
Hi everybody, I'm David and I have an interesting fact for you. Around 30 billion euros per year are misallocated in renewable investments, and this is because the market is largely intransparent. Investment proposals get overestimated all the time, the investments are undertaken at the wrong locations, and the whole process in itself is relatively manual and slow. This problem will compound into a 5 trillion euro opportunity over the coming decade right here in Europe. But we believe that technology alone won't solve this, trust and transparency will. At Wavelr, we turn data into better decisions. Combined with our expert operators, we created a truly AI-native decision platform for renewable investments. With our Birdie solution, we give access and context necessary for millions of buildings in Germany for individual analysis based on your own business logic, and also broad segmentation based on building characteristics to both speed up the investment process and ensure higher yields. Our advantage lies in the millions of data points that we collect, spanning building data, climate data, census data, company data, and real-world business logic to allow a deeper analysis and more accurate forecasting. This all is accessible through natural language and ready-made for the age of agentic AI. We build trust primarily through 3 pillars. Our Birdie intelligence platform, where we allow individual building analysis and building segmentation for renewable installers, property owners, and individual users. Our access to our database through our MCP server for software developers, professional geospatial teams in larger companies, as well as AI agents. And lastly, our AI native service segment, where we guide and assist property owners and property developers through their journey of a renewable investment, from planning to realization and even beyond into active asset management. And that is basically everything from my side. If you're interested in what we do, I'm happy to connect afterwards, either me or my colleague Roman, and thanks for your time and attention.
Okay, we have made it to health tech and fitness tech. But before we move on, let's give our founders a round of applause. Thank you very much. Okay, we know health is important. And one of the things that is imperative in this kind of section is that the technology is not just tracking someone or something, but it's genuinely improving someone's life or the world around them in some sort of fashion. This category has been historically maybe a little bit hard to build in. There's a lot of regulatory concerns, complex kind of adoption models, and at the end of the day, trust is a very important factor here. So, one of the things that I want you to pay attention to is that each of these next 5 startups are tracking human health from angles that you may not initially expect. And perhaps the most unexpected of all, we will begin today with DogBase.
Everyone, what's up? My name is Almog. I am American, living in Estonia. Echo sit. There you go, good boy. And I am the founder of DogBase. We're an AI or operating system for working dogs. You guys are thinking, what is this entrepreneur talking about? Dogs, is that a market? Well, guess what? It is a huge market. We're a global company, borderless from day one. And when we say dogs, you might be thinking of military or search and rescue, or police, but we're talking about service dogs, therapy dogs. Dog sports is a huge market, medical dogs, detention dogs, dogs that have jobs. It's a $50 billion market with a $3 billion TAM, and it's a global and increasing market. It's very exciting. We're one of the few startups that is a greenfield startup. You will not find that. We're a vertical SaaS, B2B, and very few investors in the industry know about this space. So what is it? These dogs right here, Echo, they're highly trained, they're like athletes, 50 to 60K. I can sell Echo right now for 60K. He's 6 years old. I can still get 60K for him. He's a service dog and a search and rescue dog. And they're all using pen and paper. It's terrible. I want to highlight something very important. We had a user upload 44 years of records and compliance into DogBase 3 weeks ago. That's how important this space is. And these dogs, they find bombs, find traffickers, they save lives. They're important. Good boy. So what we're basically an AI platform. We come in, give you training, certifications, we manage your entire life cycle, your health, the well-being of the dog from day one. We're a small startup, we're tech stars, 2023, and our engagement is very, very high, 200K active minutes. Our average KPI per logging either an action, a health, or a training is 7.5 to 9.5 per user per 30 days. So we're habit forming. People come on our platform, they stay on our platform. We have some really amazing customers all in the US, around the world, search and rescue teams, trainers, 100% organic. Our ARR is small, that is an MVP. Pre-launch, pre-everything. And we're currently finishing our Singapore police government pilot and evaluation, which we have passed, and hopefully we'll close the deal. It will take some time. We have a great team around the world, and including, I want to really highlight this important thing. So we have executive level VP of sales, executive level head of business development. They're working for DogBase full-time, free. They believe in what we're doing. They see the potential here. That's very, very important. This is Echo, now he's having a good time. And we have a great team. And what's unique about DogBase is Echo, the story behind Echo is, I got him when he was a puppy, when I was on kidney dialysis. And I know exactly what it takes to Echo, sit. Hey. So this is the first time, so we'll see what happens. Hey, sit, down, good boy. So I know exactly what it takes and understand the space. I'm not only from the pain point or I've researched the space, but I'm living. I am an active handler. I bring him with me. He is my service dog. We do search and rescue. I think that's very rare for founders. It makes us defensible. We have a great team, and I want to thank everybody before time's up.
What is the moment that kills most fitness plans? It is not the first hard workout. It's the first missed workout. You will miss a run because you're working late, or because your kid got sick, or because you're on holiday. And that's when your plan is going to feel broken, your progress will stall, and you will feel like you're failing. I know this because I've lived it. So, I stopped trying to train perfectly and built myself a system that was anchored in what really mattered: consistency. Everything changed. I became the top-ranked under-23 marathoner in the UK, and since then, thousands of runners across the globe have used my system to juggle running and real life and have hit new heights. Kaizen evolves with every run. It adapts and flexes to fit your schedule. But it can only do this because it has a unique, true vision of what is really driving fitness.
Sounds like a better training product, which it is, but it's much bigger than that. Runners already follow other runners for training inspiration. Today, you can only consume it. With Kaizen, you can follow your runners and train like your favorite runners, scale to your fitness and your goals. So training becomes content, content drives distribution, and distribution becomes a creator-led growth engine. So this isn't just a training app. This is the infrastructure for a creator platform in one of the world's most enduring interest categories. The market's big, it's growing, and runners already love it. I'm Josh, I'm Michael, this is Josh, and we're building Kaizen.
Hi, everybody. I'm Lucas, one of the co-founders or one of the founders of Mira Vision. And we're doing future of medical diagnosis. So there's a huge problem in the area of medical diagnosis. And the one problem is that every year there are less pathologists in the world. So the number of pathologists are going down and down. And on the other side, like the cases of cancer are growing every year, the numbers of cases. And the technology we rely on for today doesn't scale. And so there's a massive problem about how state-of-the-art AI models get trained. So you have to collect data and data and data, and have to do it also on different domains, like with different microscopes and all the kind of cancers and all the kind of tissues. And then normally you have to manually annotate all this data. So our solution for that is that we patented a technology to generate photorealistic, rule-based, unlimited data sets with no generation AI. That's really important. So it's 100% parameter-sized, and we get out a pixel-perfect ground truth of our data and train our systems with this 100% synthetic data sets. Where we're standing the last years since we get founded, we are patenting our technology. We are doing the scientific work. We validate our data. We are a sprint portfolio startup doing R&D cases this year with Roche, with Novartis, with Boehringer. And also this year, we want to outperform and show the world that we're with less data, not even 10% of the data Microsoft and Page used for the Visual 2, the hugest pathology AI system in the world. That we want to outperform them and show that our system is much better than them. And yeah, again, the breakthrough technology using 100% synthetic data, less money. So a fully annotated, I forgot that, sorry. A fully annotated picture from a pathologist costs you 2,500 euros, and one picture from us is less than 10 cents. Thank you very much.
I built InTouch out of the guilt feeling of living 365 kilometers away from my aging 80-years-old mother, knowing perfectly well that it's isolation that's bad for the health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day and increases the risk of dementia by 60%. So I built InTouch so that she and millions of other seniors like her do not grow old in silence. We built a B2B AI voice platform for home care companies to automate senior check-ins and companionship. Our Mary, our AI, uses a system of communications with seniors, speaks 6 languages, and has a base of 1,200 questions that she asks and games she plays to stimulate short-term and long-term memory. Our unfair advantage is that we work on any platform, any phone, smartphone or landline, it doesn't matter, and there's no training for the seniors at all. All they need to do is pick up the phone and speaks, and that's it. For our partners, the product is longitudinal data. We transform conversations with seniors into data and dashboards that the home care companies use to anticipate health issues of the senior and optimize the workload of the team taking care of them on a daily basis, helping keep the senior at home an extra 9 months on average for huge saving to the families and to the state. As a result, we have paid industrial trials with large home care companies, such as the Panta Hospital Group, the French state around Paris, and the top 20 US-based home care company present in 100 cities in the US. We bypassed the issue of costly distribution cost with a global partnership with Nokia HMD to include a direct access button to InTouch from their senior phones like this one. So by 2030, 1 out of 3 of us will be a senior. So we're building the global voice platform to take care of this wave. My name is Vasile Lemoigne. I'm the founder and the CEO of InTouch, and I'm here to work with you to increase the silver economy opportunity. Thank you very much.
My grandmother, Stavrula, the only thing she wanted is to grow older in her own home. She deserved the best care. Do you know what she got? She got abused by her caregiver. Today, 8 out of 10 of senior people, they want to grow older in their own homes, just like my grandmother. But their families are struggling during the process, and the caregivers are unsupported and underpaid. The system is broken in both sides. And we built the fix. Grandmama is an AI-powered operating system for home care. We replace the fragmented, expensive agencies with a full-stack platform that supports from matching to reporting, safety and security, and transparent payments. 10 times faster and up to 38% reducing the cost. And so far, we have served more than 8,000 families with 12,000 vetted caregivers, generating 35 million in salaries for our network, with an LTV over CAC 15x, and despite the fact we're charging a service fee up to last year, we're profitable. And we win because we started to countries that the big players are not. We're aligned with the caregivers without squeezing them, taking 12% on commission, recurring commission on their salaries, and up subscription for every family with or without a grandmama caregiver. And we have proprietary data to build any AI feature we want. We're currently raising 1.2 million, and today we're here for the remaining 400K. In the next 18 months, we're going to be 50,000 caregivers with an ARR 3.2 million in a global market of 700 billion. We have the network, we have the data, we have the proof. And as my grandmother used to say to me, my dear child, never stop until you make it. So Grandmama team won't stop until we transform home care everywhere. I'm Vicky Klimi, proud granddaughter of my grandmother Stavrula. Thank you.
All right, one more round of applause for our founders, please. All right, the next one is going to be really fun. We are moving into retail, commerce, and consumer. One of the things that I know plagues me, more so my husband, but how do you find a great new restaurant? Or maybe, how do you find a trustworthy plumber? Or how do you find an ERP that helps you manage your, I would say elevator, folks here probably say lift, technicians? That's what we're going to dig into right now. Each of these three startups has a very different model, market, but three also very compelling answers to those challenges. So, to begin, the man with probably the coolest glasses in here, we'll start with TasteIt.
Yeah, my heart is beating now, but I'm not gonna lie. I plan to win these things because we are connected now than ever. We are living in AI-saturated world, but we are feeling lonely. We are living in a global pandemic of loneliness, but no one has built a solution. And here comes question. What really brings together people? And answer is easy. Food has been always natural connector throughout human history. It's how we connect today, it's how we are going to connect tonight. That's why we are structuring the eating the most frequent social behavior into social platform. And like food is fragmented. There's a big problem. We order from Uber Eats, from DoorDash, we write reviews or Yelp. We meet from dating apps. We use WhatsApp for coordination. Food has not have social home. That's why we are building, and it's working. Right now, we have 100,000 monthly active users with almost zero marketing budget. And we are in like 3 countries. We won Startup World Cup Regional. We made TechCrunch. And application works super easily. Every food, every dish is social trigger. You create events and you meet people over food. And this is most important slide because we only don't have experience working for global brands. We are a bit crazy. We made funeral at TechCrunch of dating apps. In Berlin Pride, we flew thousands of paper planes, and in few days we had thousands of users with zero marketing spent. And my ask is to meet my team and also scan and get TasteIt up because our goal is to build world's first food social network to end global pandemic of loneliness because food has been always natural connector throughout human history. We built the food network layer of the internet. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tarek. I'm the co-founder and CEO of CoTasker. Today, I want to talk to you about a problem that seems like it's resolved, but it actually hasn't. I'm sure many of you have been in this scenario. You needed to move house, so you needed help with cleaning, transport, someone to assemble your furniture, and many other tasks. You try traditional services. Weeks of waiting, slow, expensive, and outdated. Apps trying to fix this, either safe but completely locked with no human connection, or it's open but unsafe with no verification and no protection. Behind the scenes, contractors juggling 4 different platforms to stay busy, with no stability and no way to build sustainable income. But why compromise? We built CoTasker, the only full-stack platform where you can, as a user, post a task, connect with real people, book with confidence, and receive compliant invoicing. One platform, every service, one life cycle. Yes, there are competitors in the market, but there is no platform does it end-to-end. Fast, safe, flexible, giving the best value to the customer while being fully compliant. And we've proven it. We're now operating successfully nationwide across Germany with thousands of tasks posted each month with very little pre-seed and marketing spend. We are at 4 million euros in GMV. 80% of our GMV comes from repeat customers. 71% of our contractors come for more work. Our competitors spend 100 times more in marketing, but we out-retain them, out-rate them, and we are ready to outscale them. And now we're raising 2.5 million euros to double down our operation and scale across Europe, and we have already 600K in commitments. And that's GoTasker. Thank you.
Actually, I think we might be in the wrong category since we are doing B2B software, but it will be all right. I'm Tom, the co-founder and CEO of Berlin-based Mainteny. And Mainteny is an AI-powered operating system for technical maintenance companies. And I don't know if you know, but pretty much every technical installed unit needs maintenance, no matter if it's an elevator, escalator, HVAC, solar panel, laboratory equipment, everything, always. But those companies face an extremely shortage in skilled labor in the field service, but also in the office. On the other side, they work extremely inefficient and old school. In the office, you have 90% of hours non-billable, and in the field, it's 40%. We as Mainteny, we fully automate the back office operations and the field service. We combine an ERP system, cloud native, where you have all structured company data, accessible for LLMs. And on the other side, we have a fully automated back office, Hyphen, which is a combination of different agents running all your back office tasks like taxes, invoices, purchase orders, quoting. Companies will save up to 80% of back office costs and execute up to 40% more jobs, which means revenue, which doubles their profit. You think maintenance is boring, but the TAM is globally up to 900 billion, right? And we already have more than 130 customers running fully on our platform in the B2B space, and we are a strong team to execute on with product experience from Patient21, IBM, Swoop, and ThyssenKrupp. Yeah, that's it. Thanks very much.
All right, one round of applause, please. Okay, we are moving into our second to last category. So it's almost time to get a coffee. Not just yet, an afternoon coffee, if you can handle it. All right, so we have made it to deep tech and AI infrastructure. Every single company here that we represent is built on something, a model, an infrastructure layer, a data system. And those foundations either are able to hold or they break. And the important part of that is the foundation. Each of these companies that we're going to hear from are not kind of built on an infrastructure, they're actually building the infrastructure layer themselves. These problems are quite hard and pretty technical and deeply consequential to how we work. So that's exactly why they matter. We will begin today in this section with Tetractys. I'm sorry, it's Greek and I've been having a really hard time. That's why you see me running back now. I need to pronounce it correctly. I'm not going to do it justice. I will introduce the founder and he can tell you exactly how to say it properly. Please welcome him to the stage.
So, hello everybody. My name is Michael Angavoy, and our company, Tetractys, is a Dutch-German deep tech with a deeply Greek name that is doing artificial intelligence that improves biomanufacturing, and especially for large businesses like pharma and industrial biotech. So what is a biomanufacturing? It's an extremely complex and expensive process that has very high risks involved. And on losses in this process, so the pharma industry loses hundreds of billions per year. And everyone here in this audience is sharing the costs of this process because it's included in the prices of our food, our medicine. So we all pay for this. And moreover, it's the main reason for medicine shortages in the world. So big deal. And Tetractys saves the day here by offering AI system that helps to run customers' factory better. We de-risk production from all factors and do automated optimization of manufacturing. And it's based on our own world models AI technology that was developed for 19 years at top universities in the world. And we have recently validated this in the industry, in commercial applications. So we were able to more than double production of biopharmaceuticals for one of the companies. And now we are at the stage of signing deals with companies like Gelita and Bayer. So we going to scale this business. We have an international team of over 15 people, from biologists to AI experts. So we are working on this, and we are inviting you all to get in contact with us and to join us to end medicine shortages and to save billions with AI. So thank you very much.
Data is no longer oil, data is uranium. That is valuable to have, but not good to keep around if you don't need it. So, regulators have created a market for us. Customers are happy about it, and technology is not ready for it. And that's the fact that regulation on deletion is here and it's not going away. Data needs to die for compliance, for post-breach risk reduction, and for our common sanity. And how do we prove deletion? Something's not there, right? Well, we prove it with a cryptographic verified deletion receipt, something that shows that the data existed, that the data was authorized, and the deletion was authorized, and the absence is proven in the new state. So this is not a log, this is not a screenshot, this is not a trust us, which is every single other company in the world right now. This is mathematics, and it's mathematics with a bonus, which is the tombstone. We plant a permanent block on resurrection of data to the same environment at the protocol level in any system at all. The business model is pretty simple. We started in blockchain, but this is 1% blockchain, 99% enterprise. We are live now with Web 3 version. Web 2 is basically ready this morning. And after that, we'd like to go to, Big ID, OneTrust, and say, hey, you're not actually competitors, we're partners. If you believe that within 36 months, proving deletion will be mandatory, like SOC 2, then you're going to need us. The incumbents can't do it, and we are built for it. I'm Glenn, I'm the CEO. Our chief scientist, Steph Savannah, was the director of scientific research at nChain. Between us, we have filed 28 patents on this technology. We have a great team. We're raising 600K at 18 million, but with a 1.5% revenue royalty immediately to each investor, leveraging our up to 99% margins. Ownership is in the entire company and all of its IP. So Zombie Delete is the global standard for verified erasure. Enterprise blockchain, anything, POCs in play. Midnight blockchain partnership, which we haven't signed yet, so hoping to soon. Good projections, and basically this is deep tech surfaced and usable by all. I just say, don't let the zombies kill you.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, can you see the top of this image? This is a very special image. About a week ago, 4 brave humans saw this image from afar. It was larger then. It's part of the Artemis 2 mission, and it's a picture of a very special planet, planet Earth. What's special about it is that every single human you've ever met and you will ever meet is on this planet. In fact, I believe we are on it right now. And that's pretty special. Now, the problem is, all of our work and all of our time we spend thinking about a different world, the digital world. All of our work is there. But the digital world and the agentic AIs that we are creating cannot understand this physical world. Try and tell Claude to calculate the size of your garden. It just won't work. You need data ingestion, you need methodologies, you need real pipelines that those agents just cannot do. And therefore, only 1% of the data about the Earth is being processed right now, which is pretty sad. And this is what PangeAI is solving. We are unlocking an over $300 billion market. Right now, a couple of companies might be able to afford huge GIS teams, but we believe that there's much, much more to it. So what does PangeAI actually look like, and what does it do? There's a video that I will just describe right now because it's not playing. We can automatically plug into all of your data sources, create methodologies that work end-to-end in an explainable fashion that, so that you can rely on all of the analyses that we are supplying you. What's important is that this is not just a pipe dream. This is actually deployed. We've been just an idea a year ago at Stanford University, but we've since, after 3 months, well, after a couple of weeks, we got our first investment. After 3 months, we got our first customer. And now, actually, just 2 weeks ago, I was in Washington, D.C. On a paid pilot presentation for the Department of War in the U.S. So we are launching this quarter a pretty unique geospatial engine that allows any agent, not just ours, understand data from the Earth and create the true digital interface for the physical world. Thank you very much.
Do you know the feeling that every day AI can do a little bit more of what you do best? Pretty soon, every competitive advantage you thought you had will be table stakes. That means the most valuable differentiator will be all the knowledge no AI can currently access. Things like your expertise, your relationships, or your personal judgment. You know all the things that were never written down anywhere and currently only live in your head. That is called implicit IP, and it will be the most important mode left in the era of AI. Every company has it. It's unique, it's irreplaceable, and it's currently completely unoperationalized. We are going to change that because MEF9 is building the operating system to contextualize and leverage implicit IP. In order to do that, we built one unified data model, deduplicating data from multiple systems into a knowledge graph that also maps the contextual relationship between data points. This way, the agentic harness doesn't only get the facts, it understands relations and recognizes patterns like why and how you do things, or when you do what. To that, we connect an implicit IP engine that learns from your actions. It understands and documents implicit IP without anyone having to write it down. Look, AI is a commodity brain everyone in this room can rent. MEF9 delivers the body, the system of context required for that brain to actually be useful. That's not my slide. There's one slide missing, perfect. But we raised a $4 million pre-seed led by GC, and we're currently at 1.7 million in signed ARR pre-launch, and our waitlist already represents over 250 million in ARR potential, all while being cash flow positive in April. I myself have spent 8 years as a CFO in venture, and that implicit IP is our unfair advantage. And that's why we start first with private capital, delivering one single platform to run all operations for managers, allocators, and service providers, spanning everything from investing to portfolio management and fund administration. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Raymond, co-founder and CEO of Magic Lane. So Magic Lane is all about navigation and a new mapping infrastructure driven out of Europe. And I see a couple of you thinking, why? I have Google Maps on my phone, so why are you doing this? Now that's exactly where the problem kicks in. Google has a market penetration of 80% in Europe. They are controlling my data and enterprise data. Number two, if you're building a website, an app, or even an embedded system, you will get hooked with this technology. They will drain you costly to that with almost no flexibility. And also, they will keep using your data, and the competition will use their data because of that. And last but not least, when it comes to the accuracy of location data, an address is not an address. At the end, you need a pickup or a drop-off address, especially for delivery, ride-sharing, ride-hailing companies. Now, how do we do this? First, it's privacy by design. Number two, we keep on navigating while offline. And last but not least, we can be implemented in everything and anything because of the use of open source data and because of the architecture created. And this is something which did not fall off the air. Johan, the CTO, he rebuilt everything from scratch again recently to enable all sorts new forms of mobility. Tim is moving the projects we have into deliveries and paying customers. And this is not the first company I've been building this myself. So how are we going? 500,000 last year. We think we can triple this year and triple it the year after with no names in the industry, also knowing that we have 10,000 firefighters, ambulances, and police cars driving around in Germany because of this privacy and because of this offline connectivity. We are looking for 2.5 million to move this journey forward, expanding this commercially. Thank you.
Hello. So who owns a wearable, like EarPods or smartwatch? Like a few. Okay. So you know that last year, over 600 million wearables have been shipped. And yeah, they measure heart rate, sleeping time, all the biometrics, but yet none of them know you. They don't know your habits. They don't know the context around you. And so we built ARIA. ARIA is the first API that is a layer in between your application and the hardware. And it will be adaptable. It's going to be on-device, it's going to be private, and it will take just 5 minutes to calibrate and understand you. So yeah, it's working. We are backed by plug and play. We work with the MIT Media Lab. We work also with Oracle. And yeah, this is what we are doing. We want a better place, better human being, more productive, but at the same time, less stressed. Because we are living a time where everything and everyone gets even more stressed because we have to produce more and more. But what if we have a layer that helps us to manage stress, manage, our activity, understand how we can feel better in our own society? And so we are building now ARIA. It's already validated on the Samsung Galaxy Watch, and you have to join us because there is no time for, let's say, to waste for having people still not being healthy. So join us. Thank you.
One more round of applause, please, for those founders. Okay, so we have one more very exciting category and founder, and then we also will have one of our sustainability pitches redo their pitch directly afterwards as well. All right, so very cool introduction that I get to make here. And there's a little bit of a joke, so bear with me. You have to laugh on cue. Dawn, I'm looking at you. I need a lot of laughing. We close our competition today with a startup working in an industry where software has been slow to arrive, aviation ground operations. Okay, that was the joke, so. It's not a glamorous sector, but it's vast, and this founder has identified exactly where technology can provide enormous value. Please welcome Anastasia from Inputsoft.
Hi, everyone. I'm Anastasia. I'm CEO and co-founder of Inputsoft. Also, I'm an aerospace engineer, and I've been working in civil aviation industry for my entire career, more than 11 years. My two co-founders also come from aviation, and together we share over 30 years of experience. We've seen the chaos from inside out, so we built a company to fix it. And here what's broken. Ground operations at airports still run on gut feeling, phone calls, and manual spreadsheets. The result is wasted resources, outdated workflows, and blind management with no real-time visibility. And this is costing our industry hundreds of millions every year. At Inputsoft, we've changed that. Oh, that's it with my slides. But yeah, I will tell you that we built a web platform for managing airport operations. We have a web page for managers and dispatchers and a dedicated app for employees on the ground. With our system, every resource, check-in agent, gate, bus, truck is scheduled, tracked, and managed fully automatically in real time based on actual flight load. And the longer the client uses our system, the smarter it gets. And our optimization engine learns from every single operation. This is not a theory, actually. We already have clients, and for example, during our pilot with EAG, one of the biggest airlines group in the world, we actually saved 4,700 working hours in 2 months, which is hundreds and thousands of euros in payroll, and we achieved a 70% reduction in planning time from 3 days a week to just a couple of hours. Another thing is that we are already supported by great companies. We raised our pre-seed round, 1.3 million. We're backed by Techstars, by Google for Startups. We're already part of EAG Innovations, Amadeus Startup Universe, so we are already integrated into the conversations with the biggest airlines group in the world. And also right now we are raising our 1.5 million seed round. We already have 500K committed by the Aviation CVC, and we are looking for a lead investor to help us grow, scale, and build the next generation of aviation platforms. Thank you so much for your attention. I will send you my pitch deck to all of your emails.
All right, we do have one more founder that is going to return to the stage just due to some audio issues on the live stream earlier. So I would love to welcome to the stage Morten from Sirputis. All right.
I'm Morten Crossley, CEO and co-founder of Sirputis. We build modular seaweed biorefineries. deployed for scalable and regional use. So biomass is distributed, but processing is not. The seaweed is 90% of water and transported today over large distances, which makes it degrade. 36 million tons is today processed, and most of this seaweed is far away processed from the local distributed. And as you can see from the map, seaweed is very local biomass, and value creation is focused on some central places of the world. Seaweed also is grown 3 times since 2002. So our seaweed modular biorefineries, they will be placed where the biomass is growing. We deploy by modules, flexible, movable, and we compete with the legacy mega factories, which uses 30 to 100 million and 5 years to build. We also deploy with the water or connections and the energy. The biomass input can be any types of seaweed, and some of the seaweed also has a negative price. And processing the seaweed 1 ton can create a value of €700. The smallest biorefineries is down to €500, and we have a payback time of 2 years. And the normal EBIT margin is 50%. The business model from Sirputis is 40% margin on the equipment, and then we have monitoring and service and licensing, which generates the cash flow. Our team consists of experienced people with more than 100 processing projects over 17 countries in the world. And with us, we have a biochemist and a project manager. We have raised 900,000 until now, 2.5 million in non-dilutive grants, and now we are raising 2 million for the coming 24 months, and we will also unlock then potentially 30 new biorefineries globally. Thank you very much.
All right, we are moving into, sorry, before I do, 1 round of applause for everyone who pitched today. That is the end of our pitches. Amazing job. All right, so we're moving into a very special portion of the day today. Our judges, you can move to your deliberation period and help us discover who is going home with a ginormous check. And in the interim, we are going to walk through a panel discussion with Dawn from Sunshine Lake and Joe surrounding founders, finance, and the future. So, judges, feel free. This is your transition note. You can follow Sammy in the white, and he will guide you to the deliberation room. All right, Sammy, thank you for leading the charge. And we're just going to do a quick stage transition, so give us 1 moment. Testing, testing. That is for you.
Testing, testing.
Will you sit with them, or are you standing?
I'll sit here. Yeah. It'll turn on. They're just switching.
Boom, boom, boom.
There we are. Yeah, I think so.
Is it back there?
It is, yeah. This one's on. This one's on.
Mike, that one's on? Okay. And guys, there's been a couple spillages because there's glass bottles and cups and stuff like that. We don't want anyone to get hurt, so if you don't mind taking your stuff onto tables, and then the catering team will clear them because they cannot really access them there. Thank you.
Oh, fabulous. Amazing.
We're going to take like a 5-minute break or jump right on?
I think we probably should, right?
Take a break?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, we've decided, we've had a judgment call. We're going to take a very quick and real 5-minute break so you can use the restroom, grab a water, and then please join us back for our panel. Okay. All right, I'm going to ask that everybody comes back and joins us here. And feel free to get nice and close. Just give a minute for folks to funnel in. All right, everyone, please join us. Again, don't be afraid. The judges have gone, so you can get nice and close. Depending on time, we may have the opportunity for questions as well in this period, which would be really, really nice. All right. I just want to ensure before I move forward, Christoph, are we good on the, we're good? Okay, live stream is up and running. So before we get started, you did meet Joe a little bit earlier, but you haven't met Dawn. I am going to give them both an opportunity here just to do a quick introduction of kind of who they are, their career, and then we have a few questions. And again, depending on time, the hope is that we can open it up to a few audience questions, kind of depending on how time goes. So Dawn, why don't you take us away?
Thanks so much, Jordan, and so exciting to be here, you guys. I love Berlin. You know, my background, from San Francisco, but lived all over the world growing up. I actually lived in France. I lived in Germany for a little while. I lived in the UK. I actually studied in Berlin for an entire year back in 2003, so that dates me a little bit. But I came here for the techno, and I left with the German language and the ability to, you know, study econometrics in German, and I had a blast. And then after graduating, worked in investment banking, got to work on the Google YouTube deal, kind of during Google's acquisition heyday, which was incredible. Moved to London, worked in private equity. I issued a term sheet to Klarna for their Series A, if you're familiar with Klarna. And then off the back of that, built a business in East London that we sold to Groupon, expanded Groupon all around the world. Joined an art studio in San Francisco where the founders were drawing pictures of hosts and guests on the wall with a Sharpie. It was called Airbnb. Early days, expanded them across the US and around the world, and then started angel investing, backing primarily international founders in San Francisco, people who had nothing to fall back on, who weren't building cat dating apps, they were building real revenue-generating businesses. And you know, fast forward to today, you know, I worked in venture capital with Global Founders Capital for 10 years, doing just the same. And with Sunshine Lake, we spun out, and you know, we're doing that. I was very fortunate to be one of the first backers of Deel. Thank you so much, Deel, for sponsoring this amazing event and for you all being here.
All right, good to see everybody. Maybe I'm not good. Can you hear it? Okay, great. Good to see everybody. I've been to Germany a number of times, but this is my first time to Berlin. And I don't have as cool of a line as I came here for the techno, but I have been here on a number of times, mostly on the way to China. And China's where I started my tech career about 20 years ago, in the time when Sina, Sohu, Baidu were first coming on to the public stage. I helped to take a couple of Chinese companies public on the New York Stock Exchange in the education technology sector. Number of Chinese students studying all over the place, US, UK, Australia primarily, but also Germany. And one of those companies went public on the New York Stock Exchange at less than $1 billion in market cap, and then grew in the public markets to $50 billion in market cap. So What I say to Deel is, don't worry, you're 17 billion of market cap now, but there's still 50x in the public markets to go from here.
Woo!
That was for our angel investor. And that's been my career over time. I've gone to multiple companies at this stage of growth, going from education technology to fintech, and now the HR tech space. This is my first time not working in a consumer-oriented company, so I'm in the exciting field of dealing with sales reps and global sales forces, and having a hat in addition to CFO of having to be the #1 sales rep for the founder. So I may come for some of you who are not Deel customers already and ask why not. But good to meet you all, and the dog as well. And thanks for being here.
Amazing. All right, the first one is a really interesting one. Regardless of vertical or category, what are the qualities of founders that you see that really do make it, that make a difference and are able to kind of charge forward? What are those things that you typically see?
For me, it's all about their psychology. It's about somebody who's experienced something challenging in life, whether they were fired from a job or they experienced a civil war or their parents lost everything and they had to make that money back. There has to be some sort of a story, some sort of a thing that cracks that person to make them want to build something meaningful and to do it sustainably. That's the most important thing. And those stories, they lead to missions. And when I say missions, they tell that story to other people and that draws other people in. And organically, because those people become passionate about the mission, and then a product builds off the back of that, and then we love terminology like GTM, that idea propagates over time, and that's really the core of it all is sort of a psychological phenomenon as we look at it.
Amazing.
Yeah, for me, I spoke about this a little bit earlier, but I find it to be kind of the lived experience of the founders, and maybe that leads to the tenacity that you're describing. But I spoke earlier to Alex and Shuo, experiencing the pain point that we at Deel are trying to solve in terms of connecting global talent to the best companies globally. And one of the pitch folks today talked about regulatory and tightness only increasing, and we've seen that in the visa world as well. It's even tighter to try to find a job in the local locations. So that pain point and feeling that viscerally yourself. The last company I was in was called Credit Karma. It was a credit building app in the US. And similarly, the founder who started that company came to the US when he was 4, and his parents had a small Chinese restaurant, and they needed business credit and couldn't get it because they were local immigrants. And the US credit system in particular is crazy, where it takes a lot of time to build credit over time. So we were trying to find ways for people to build credit fast, and he experienced that every day with his parents not being able to put food on the table, put food on the restaurant, but not enough left over to put food on the table at home. So to me, those are kind of the lived experiences that then create mission-backed companies. I started my career at Coca-Cola because that was the only company that would put me in China right away. But as the son of a dentist, I can hardly call that a mission-based company. But every company since then has been mission-based, whether it's in education technology, fintech, now this HR tech solving the global talent shortage. And to me, the mission is based on this pain point that the founders feel.
Yeah, and Joe, I mean, you lived all over the world. You lived in China for many years, and now you're helping a very, very global business. And so, it's almost typecasting to have you as part of the management team. It's incredible. In terms of how you look at Deel more broadly, in terms of international, exposure, et cetera, can you tell us a little bit more about your experience with the team and how many different languages you've seen across the team, et cetera?
Sure. Wait, I thought she was supposed to answer the question. This is good. This is good. I like it. I like it. We're ad-libbing up here. Yeah, I mean, it's been unbelievable for me. I joke a little bit that Chinese has been helpful because one of the co-founders is Chinese, Shuo. But unfortunately, I don't know French. So you have all of the different Boazizes talking, and they can go into French, and then the CFO doesn't know what they're talking about, unless it's the language of financials, and then I get it. But I am lucky to have been around, different languages all the time. My wife is from Peru, and I intentionally try not to learn Spanish, even though I know that that's an easy language to learn, because I don't want to know what she's saying about me or how she's reprimanding me at any given time. But this job has been on the road since I joined. I joined about 6 months ago, so I'm still new in the seat. And my first week on the job, I was in South Africa, and we had a global leadership summit in South Africa with our top 50 leaders. That allowed me to learn the business really well and be to a place that I've never been before. So I've been in global companies. I talked about Coca-Cola, but I've never been in a global company in so many regions, certainly in my first 6 months on the job. So it's been a real exploration for me in that way.
Yeah, maybe, if I may, I say often that one of the pleasures I have with working at Deel is the ability to see anything on the news and be able to call somebody in that place and say, like, what's going on? Like, what's happening in your world? And it's really changed the way I see the world, even that ability to just like have these folks that are all around the same mission, but so diverse in kind of their background and where they grew up and live and all kinds of things.
Yeah, I mean, I would bet that even Coca-Cola can't say they're in 150 countries in terms of the employees. Mm-hmm. Maybe they have business in all those companies, but just given the bottler network and everything else, it's hard to imagine any company that's done that. And then for this, the major big difference for me is it's fully remote. So 7,000 employees fully remote. That is something I have never done. It's the world's largest experiment. So far, so good. But an interesting, there'll be definitely a case study on Deel in the future, if not already in process.
That's actually a great segue to my next question. So what are kind of the early signs that a startup is building something real and lasting? What are you kind of looking for? Maybe not in the founder themselves, but broadly the company.
Traction, and I think traction can be dissected in so many different ways, but if someone rolls up their sleeves and starts to work on a product and starts to make progress on a product and a product roadmap, it's a constantly evolving type of a concept, but payroll and compliance products are evolving, especially with what's going on with artificial intelligence. So today we've got Deel AI, from the very beginning of Deel to today, there have been some dramatic shifts. Mm-hmm. But sort of traction kind of from multiple different vectors is an important thing to look at, whether it's P&L-oriented traction, whether it's kind of just pure ideation in the very early days. I just think about the word or the concept of traction.
Yeah, for me, and I was curious that actually only one of the pitches mentioned it, is retention, right? All of the businesses that I've been part of, retention is super high. Including Deel. I mean, I was very surprised. It was one of the key things I looked at from the outside in before joining the company was, what's the churn? And if I look back to my other companies in ed tech, the Chinese parents were so afraid to have their kids miss out on winning that next math Olympiad or getting whatever test to get in whatever school that they would lose their seat in the learning centers. There's a perceived scarcity there. That we were getting tuition 6 months, 12 months ahead of time, which helped with the predictability of the business, which is so important for public markets, but also is just an indication of that really high retention. In Credit Karma, we achieved that by essentially having a free product. So you have to really be annoying to members. And at times, there are situations where there's some spamminess in emails or notifications, but you have to be pretty darn annoying to get people to churn away from a completely free product. And here, now that I'm in the B2B space, I've learned about net revenue retention, gross revenue retention, and seeing those kind of numbers for Deel has also been impressive. So, there's initial product market fit that develops the traction, but it's so easy over time, even if you have product market fit, to move to monetization too quickly, drive churn, or scale too quickly. where you're moving away from your initial area product market fit. So being able to really achieve the retention even ahead of the monetization, probably a weird thing for the CFO to say, but it's the most important leading indicator.
Yeah, and I mean, if you want to build a sustainable business, you know, you've got to kind of build it to a scale where you consistently have good retention. And in the early days, you know, you can have horrible retention, but you can be scaling meaningfully, and you got to sort of continuously sort of build the retention to a higher value. It's an exercise that so many companies go through where they lose a ton of cash at the beginning, and then ultimately they get strong product market fit.
You've almost queued up my next question for me. So how do you know when, or what is the inflection point when you go from growth to profitability? And is it ever too late for that decision?
I'll jump in first just to spice it up a little bit. I've never been in a company that wasn't profitable from day one, which is an odd thing. To your point, Don, like, sometimes it makes a lot of sense, actually, and it's to the point around tenacity of the founders. It's hardest when you're burning a lot of cash and then you're in seek of that product market fit, but you know you have a hole. But each of these companies that I described, the two ed tech companies, Credit Karma and now Deel, have been profitable, you know, almost from the beginning. Deel was over the last 3 years that we reached profitability, but it's still, you know, relatively early. If you think about, you know, companies that, many companies are in the red for decades, right? So there's a certain discipline of many founding teams. I think the debate is, have you left something on the table by seeking profitability sooner? So, you know, if you would have, you know, been willing to lose more money in terms of getting that additional coverage of users that then you can sell more and more products into, and instead you're seeking profitability so you only cover this many users, are you actually limiting the opportunity ahead of you? And that's something actually, some of you guys saw Sammy earlier on the Deel IT business, which was previously called Hofi. That's a thing that he and I debate regularly now because he has two businesses in that IT business. One is essentially a cost-plus business on hardware, getting all those laptops out to all those, you know, work from home remote employees. And then the other business is the SaaS business that he puts on top of it. And the reality in many cases, just given the volatility of hardware prices, he says it's cost plus, but it's not, it's cost minus. So he's actually losing money on every, you know, device that he puts in the hands of the end users. But the debate that we have is, hey, if I don't do that, then I'm not going to be able to layer the SaaS revenues on top of a big enough base. The counter argument to that, which I've seen in my career, is that the discipline of focusing on profitability from day one actually creates the kind of culture in the company where you can, you know, build more and more in a very scrappy and frugal way. And it leads to really being thoughtful around additional headcount, around layers in the organization you would have put in. And one of the things we talk about here is deal speed. You know, ultimately, being able to be scrappy drives a lot of speed in most cases. So there are two sides of the argument. My experience has been, even though theoretically that's the case, that by losing more money up front, you address a larger audience. My experience has been that the founders that have been focused on being scrappy, being frugal from day one have actually seen the greater success.
Yeah, I mean, Joe's picked some incredible businesses and worked with some incredible businesses. I think, you know, in the very early days, we tell a lot of founders to, you know, find that product market fit, get that traction, whatever it sort of might be. And when they become profitable or break even, if they're seed stage companies, it sort of sets off a red alert, and we want them to kind of try to grow and be loss making. We kind of even ask them the question, why aren't you losing money? And if they're like, you know, we know what we're doing, we're going to continue to push forward, you know, we're hands off. But in some cases, it feels like people don't burn enough money. At the same time, if you look at Deel, incredible. I mean, the headquarters of the company, I mean, Joe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's Shuo's apartment in San Francisco, one of the co-founders' apartments in San Francisco, where there's an empty bed and a punching bag. I mean, literally, that's their headquarters. And, you know, the entire team, is it 7,000, 8,000 people are fully remote, all around the world fully remote? And then you ask yourself the question, you know, like, how does everybody sort of march by the same drumbeat? Because so many companies have tried this so many times over, and yet Deel's done it so incredibly well, and they've been profitable for 3 years. So it's a rare opportunity. You know, it's very, very rare to find businesses that act that way, and Joe's got a great nose for those things.
Listen to the angel investor.
What are 2 or 3 things that founders without a finance background need to get right from day one?
Those without a finance background?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think you need a finance background from day one. To the points that we're making, it's all about that initial product market fit, how you're, you know, creating a 12-star experience for your initial customers, how you're driving kind of that word of mouth that helps you to bring on more customers, which ultimately leads to more employees that also believe in your mission, et cetera. It's really in the early days just not running out of money.
Yeah, be cheap.
Right?
Be cheap in the early days.
Manage the burn
background.
rate.
Yeah.
And that you don't need a finance background to do.
The whole like managing the burn rate thing is, from an investor standpoint, extremely important, and it's something sometimes that investors don't really want to talk about with founders, because sometimes it's viewed as maybe founder unfriendly to be like, hey, what's your runway, what's your burn, and all these different questions. But if your investor asks you those questions, or someone asks you those questions, you should appreciate it, and, you know, try to really think about how much runway you have in terms of months, how much you're actually burning per month. You know, I'm talking really, really early days. And then kind of ask yourself, ask friends if you're not a finance person, you know, kind of what the unit economics maybe look like. Start to kind of sketch that out in your head if it's very early days, and then as you kind of scale up, just get smarter on it. You don't have a finance background, you know, use ChatGPT, Gemini, or Anthropic to sort of build that for yourself.
Yeah, these days, you arguably don't need a CFO ever, but certainly not in the early days. And this whole thing around like founder-friendly, unfriendly, I mean, honestly, any investor that's asking you that question is the most friendly thing you can do. Because what happens in the unfriendly days is kind of irreconcilable things that happen later on. So, you know, some of the famous examples of where like VCs and entrepreneurs started butting heads in the Valley, it wasn't in the early days and having someone like Don as an angel investor who's like asking you those hard questions up front. It's when there's already been so much momentum in a certain business model for years, maybe decades, and early VC is not willing to like have those hard conversations, and then it reaches a breaking point and everything goes wild. So
it goes bust. It's the roughest situation ever. You have no one who whispers to you, hey, take a look. It's trouble.
All right, I'm seeing many of our judges are ready to go. I'm going to ask one very quick question before we close.
Well, let's take it out to the audience,
sure.
too.
Yeah, that's great.
I don't like all the planted questions. Let's have, all right, here we go.
In the front.
Let's get him a mic. Yep.
Thank you. You guys both have experience in different sectors, and today we saw a lot of categories.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if you have a soft side for one category over others, personally, like as a...
Yeah, it's a great question. You saw that we're not judges, so we can say our soft spots without actually impacting the results. You know, for me, it's not a particular sector, but I am really interested in what it means to have like a barrier to entry or a moat around your business in today's world, right? I mean, that's what's the real question around this so-called SaaSpocalypse, is all of these companies that were kind of operating at the application layer. There's a real question of what the terminal value is of those companies. So they may have their existing customers now, but typically, from a finance lens, you're modeling a discounted cash flow analysis for a company. You model 10 years, and at the end of 10 years, there's this terminal value. And a lot of the value of companies is in the terminal value, which is this idea that the company will go on almost forever, for many years past the initial 10 years. Now, with just the rate at which, you know, AI is disrupting, you can barely model 2 years, let alone 5 years, let alone 10 years, let alone a terminal value. So I was actually, as I was looking through the companies, I was on my phone judging, by the way. I was not monitoring my email or anything like that. I was looking at what are the companies that I could really get a sense for what that barrier to entry was. And it could be agnostic to industry. I found some of the deep tech ones interesting in the sense that you had to have a certain amount of CapEx expenditure, a certain amount of kind of technology know-how in order to have that barrier to entry, but it certainly wasn't exclusive just to those.
Yeah, and I think for me, I mean, TAMs are shifting and changing now with these new platform shifts. So what I mean by that is with, you know, your physical intelligence or your, you know, artificial intelligence platform shift, look at agriculture. You know, it's no longer going to be the super low margin business that it has been forever off the back of, you know, new robotics technologies that are going to allow for you to grow a lot more vegetables in smaller spaces, or, you know, even just the cells themselves. And so it's an interesting moment to start to reassess TAMs and opportunities. Simultaneously, the operator doesn't need to necessarily be the technical kind of mind that we'd previously always assessed for. Rather, we're looking for, you know, folks who drive operational momentum. You probably heard, you know, this 996 out of China thing. We're looking for people who are constantly rolling up their sleeves and constantly building and learning how to use Claude and learning how to navigate, you know, with their teams and growing their teams to kind of push forward, raising capital constantly, because that's always going to be sort of a moat, building partnerships and so on and so forth. Product-led growth feels like it's a thing of the past in a lot of respects. Technological defensibility, we're not sure about anymore because people are constantly navigating new markets off the back of the AI models. And so I think it's a really interesting moment, but where I find, you know, I'm downside protected is in folks who will operate constantly, you know, 24/7, regardless, aren't going to rest on their laurels, or completely obsessed.
So no 996, 9 to 9, 6 days a week. He wants 24/7.
24/7. Actually, I backed these Dutch founders in Amsterdam, 22 years old. You know, they dropped out of university there, work 7 days a week. All their friends think they're completely insane. You know, work-life balance in the Netherlands apparently is a really lovely and easy thing. But all of their friends are constantly telling them, like, you got to come out and hang out with us. And they're like, hell no, we want to work. And it's just the weirdest thing for kind of the entire tech community there, but the business is doing incredibly well.
Yeah, it's an interesting point. 7 years in, Alex and Shua still, you know, maintain that culture at Deel. So on one level, you'd think, well, how is that really a moat? How is it a barrier to entry? Why can't other founders replicate that? And I think in the early days, lots can do it, but to have it continue to be the culture of the company 7 years in is something different. Any other questions from the audience? There's one back here.
Thanks for the questions and your vision around the industry right now. So I'm coming from the SaaS world and basically building my own So I'm solo founder of the SaaS company in testing, and the question is how to compete in this world that no one will eat your product and outcompete the market with big players around.
Yeah, I mean, the question was how do you compete in the SaaS market with so many big players around? To me, that's actually now easier than ever. And maybe I'm a little bit biased and I don't live in your shoes, but some of the biggest companies, whether they're big US companies like an Intuit or big European companies like an SAP, are finding there are so many local small competitors in each of their spaces. And there's a way in which you can, you know, embed the core competency of a given player in another product you have. So for example, in the US, Intuit does stuff in the tax space. The tax code is crazy in the US, and it's a big industry to help people do their taxes. I don't know if that exists really to the same extent in Germany. But what's happening is that then, you know, companies are building their own AI products to understand the tax code and doing that for free and embedding it in another product, whether that's a neobanking product, retail product, et cetera. So the cost of building has come down so low. You heard one founder say that he has Him and one other person. That was not the founder who said, I have a Bernardo, a Bernardo, a Bernardo, and non-Bernardos, but just a couple of people, right? So my perspective, at least, is that it's a really good time to be a small company. And the main thing that the big companies have is that system of record that they've developed over many years. So it's 40 million users, 50 million users, 150 million users. So to me, the art is figuring out how do you find a way to leverage a proprietary database and then provide new technology that can move much more quickly, provide much more personalized answers to the questions that need to be solved. And if there are ways to do that, either through partnership or those embedded options that I was talking about, I think you're able to kind of achieve the best in both worlds.
All right. Okay, I think it's time. We have a very fun transition. We have to get on schedule. But
well,
Joe,
I will say that this is another, to the point of cultural difference. In France, it took like an hour and a half to figure this out, right? There was lots of argument back and forth. Here it was like 20 minutes. We were off early. So thank you all. Auf Wiedersehen. Yeah? All right. See you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
That was great.
All right. Perfect. Oh, you're good.
Either you can use your phone or I have it here. It's up to you. I've written them all down.
These are A's.
Here we go. It was an interesting one. They thought they had 10, and then they deliberated some more. And now I have more than 10 on the list. I'm going to have to convince Deel Ventures that we can put up the extra money. I think it'll be okay, right? Yeah? Okay. Alice is my boss in terms of Deel Ventures. Once we ultimately end up acquiring the company, then I get to make the decision. But like I said earlier, the ultimate goal for all of you is that you get to grow so fast that I'm going to be like, oh, that's too expensive. I don't want to buy you guys. So in no particular order, we're going to list the 12. I'm actually going to try to do this in alphabetical order, even though they're not listed in alphabetical now, just to make it a little bit more suspenseful. One by one. Yeah. I'm being reminded. So the first one is Cybe. C-Y-B-E-E. All right. This guy looks like he knew he was going to get it. It's a big smile on his face like he knew it. All right. Alice, you want to take it? Here we go. Yeah. Yeah! Woo!
See you in Dubai.
Good stuff, my man. All right, next one. I'm testing my alphabetical order here. I may screw this up, but I think it is Get Claro. All right, we'll go on either side here. We'll get our thing right here. All right, here we go. Woo! Good stuff. Congratulations. Yeah. All right. The next one, not third place. It's in no order. This has no indication of who's going to win in Dubai. The next one is Grale, G-R-A-L-E. All right, here we go. This is fun. And you get 50 grand. And you get 50 grand. All right, here we go. Nice. And this was really hard for the alphabetical order because it was just a difference of L and N. Grantor is the next one. Grantor. All right, here he is. Nice. Yeah, of course. Exciting. There we go. Good stuff. All right, I think we're on to the H's. There's only one H. Hyphen. There he is. All right, here we go. Thank you. All right, all of you that may be before H in the alphabet, don't get too worried because I may have screwed something up here. The next one, in parallel. This is another guy who got off his seat real fast. He knew he was going to be one of the winners. Here we go. Congratulations. Yeah. All right, this next one real close to in parallel. I think it's pronounced Ikana, I-Q. Ikana, yeah? Good stuff. All right. Did I pronounce that right? Yeah, perfect. Okay, good. Awesome, congratulations. All right, let's see here. What do you think? I think it's MAV9. Hey, congratulations, man. And thanks for staying for my Q&A. I saw you in the front. There we go. It didn't impact the judging results, but yeah, it was good. All right, after MAV9, we have Nooksit. How many do I have left? All right, here we go, my man. I think you have the more memorable name. I will remember that, Nooksit. All right, I think the next one after that is PangeAI, P-A-N-G-E. Did I pronounce it right? There he is. All right, congratulations. Of course. All right, I think that may have been 10, but you know, we said that we were going to keep doing it, and we're going to keep doing it. So after PangeAI, it is Silex. I think I only have one left, right? Okay. Yes, congratulations. I remember you had one of the most well-practiced pitches. Very impressive. All right. And we had 10. That was 11. And last, but not least, what do we think? Are we going to go from Silex to a T, a U? Nope. Valid proof. Valid proof. There we go. Congratulations, yeah. All right, that's the way to hold it. Congratulations. Awesome. Well, I'm just going to say all of these winners, we were supposed to choose 10. As I mentioned before, Alice was very generous. She's like, I can't choose between all these. We're going to have 12. These folks are going to go to the semis, which are going to be in Dubai. And then we're going to have the finalist round also in Dubai. So it's back-to-back programs. And this is the second tour, right? So we did Paris. This is Berlin. And we have a number of other stations throughout the world. London is next. Then Tel Aviv, Singapore, New York. So all these folks that just got honored today are going to get to compete globally with people all across the world. Thank you all, everybody that participated, because you know, like I said in the beginning, one is the opportunity to pitch is just amazing. I didn't have that opportunity until I was in business school. I wish I had that opportunity much earlier. And my pitch wasn't that great, so I ended up not getting money for it, but deciding to join an ed tech company. That's how I got into ed tech, because I pitched something in ed tech. So I'm excited for all of you that had the chance to pitch today. And everybody here will get access to all of those tools and systems and what Deel Ventures has to offer. Hopefully it was a good use of your time, and thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you for everyone that came, that stayed, that pitched, that won and didn't. Thank you to the judges that came. Most of them traveled, and see you in Dubai.
All right.
Judges and startup that won, please on the stage. Thank you.